Now let's start with the live CAT form filling. Okay, there is some query which I have got which says, can we select all programs? You can, I think Arnav Verma has this point. You can do that, but definitely I would strongly recommend fill in those which you really are interested in. That makes life easier later. Sania says, I want to do MBA in HR, and if it is not there in one program, I have to still select it. So Sania, you have a lot of HR specialized programs like IIM Ranchi has, IIM Indore has, a few more newer IIMs also have it. You can always fill that up. Okay. Now let's move on to this part. So here there's a new registration option. Okay, so the moment I come to this registration part, so this is the slide I was showing you earlier. Name, date of birth, email, all this you need to fill up. Okay. And you need to just click on generate OTP. You will get 2 OTPs, a mobile OTP and a email OTP. I'm just skipping this part because this I'm sure each one of will do it specifically for yourselves. Once you fill the 2 OTPs and click, the 2 OTPs get validated and the 5 information which you have given here, name, date of birth, email and mobile number is displayed on the screen. If all 5 fields are correct, please ensure all 5 are correct. Then you say OK, and then your user ID and password get mailed to you, and also it is sent to you via SMS. So both the things happen. Your email ID and mobile both receive the user IDs and passwords. Okay, so I have done this process. So I am now logging in through my, so already registered. So I'll go back. So if you look at this, registered candidate login, there are 2 options here, new registration and registered. So first time, only register will be required. Once you have a user ID password, then the registered candidate login. So I'll go to login and now I will start putting in my data. So since I've already created a user ID and password for myself, I will just quickly put that in. So Mozilla, Google Chrome, आपको जो browsers use करने हैं, they have given the right particular version which you need to fill in. Okay. So if you see here, there are 6 fields which you need to fill up. 6 fields. So let us first begin with the personal details. So in the personal details, your name will come pre-populated as you had filled in while registering your CAD application. Then first name, middle name. First name, of course, is an asterisk per compulsory field. Middle and last can be filled as per your own choice. But remember, you need to fill this up exactly as per your class 10 mark sheet. If this 10 mark sheet and your Aadhaar ID, suppose name is mismatched, you can, as what I think, it's that you should fill it up as per your 10 or 12 mark sheet. But in the CAT website, there was one link which said, if I take you through this, it says identification affidavit. An identification affidavit is where you write that this is a mismatch here and I need to, as in just inform them to the candidate. So I'll show you what the identification affidavit is, to be executed on a non-judicial stamp paper and attested by a notary public. I so and so deciding so just basically they're trying to show that, so this is for twin purpose. One is if you do not have any proper ID proof, and 2 is if there's a mismatch. So I think it's better to then carry this affidavit with you if there is a mismatch in your ID card and your mark sheet. The other way of looking at it could also be that whatever ID proof I will carry to the CAT center, let's say an Aadhaar or a passport or a PAN card or a driving license, I need to exactly write my name in accordance with what that ID has. Or agar 10-12 ka mark mein, I would go by the second thought that whatever is in there in your Aadhaar card, write the same spelling here. If 10-12 mark sheet and Aadhaar card does not match up, make an affidavit, notarize it, keep it separately. If required later on during admission, we will show that. Okay? So that's number one. Father's name, mother's name, spouse name, all that is filled up. Now this is where is very important. For CAT 26 it says NCOBC and EWS category. These two students belonging to these two categories have to have their certificates issued on or after 1st of April 2026. Anything prior to that is not valid. So it clearly mentions for EWS candidates, the certificate must be valid for 26-27, assessed on 25-26. So if you have an older mark sheet, older NCOBC or EWS certificate, don't worry, apply for the new one. The CAT authorities allow you to apply with the old certificate along with one PDF you make with 3 documents, old certificate, the proof of having applied for the new certificate, and there's an undertaking given in the CAT website in terms of an NCOBC or EWS certificate that I fulfill the criteria as per the current financial year. So these 3 documents in a single PDF you need to upload in place of the EWS or NCOBC certificate. Okay? SC/ST can be older also, it doesn't matter. Fine? Date of birth, gender, national. So here in category, if I select general, no problem. The moment let's say I go by SC. So the moment I select SC here, what will it show? State, which we all know, caste or tribe name. Now here there's an icon given here. Just click on that icon. Depending on the state you have chosen, they will show you what are the caste names or what are the tribe names in your particular state. Just fill that up because that will be mandatory to be filled in here. Similarly, if I fill in ST, same caste, tribe name and state. But the moment I fill in EWS, similar but certificate issue date is where they are asking you. Now this has to be the issue date of the current. So, ideally after 1/4/26. If you have prior one, give the prior date here. But as I said, those 3 documents then can be together uploaded. So if I fill in NCOBC, here a lot of information is being asked. Certificate issue date, state, serial and number or entry number of the caste and the name. So the serial number is an extra part asked in NCOBC. So click on this I button here, you will get a list on, pick your serial number, entry number from that gazette and your caste name. And this is a typed in, there's no drop down here. Okay. In terms of physically challenged category, if I fill in yes, then I get a lot of information to be filled up separately. Measurable, PWD UD ID number, which is not a mandatory field though, and PWBD category, which means blindness, deaf, locomotor disability, whatever it is. That has to be filled in. Scribe, you need to get your own scribe. They don't provide you a scribe, but there is a, as I was showing you earlier, there is a scribe affidavit here. So let me quickly spend 2 minutes making you understand each of these forms here. An authorization form means that you need to fill in. Suppose you want to carry a handkerchief with you, you want to carry an important medicine with you, any essentials to be carried during the CAT exam, that authorization form has to be filled. Scribe affidavit is for the people who belong to the differently abled category and they want a scribe. You get 20 minutes extra per section also for that. Identification affidavit is what I showed you. There's a mismatch in the names or you don't have an ID proof to be taken. Final year certificate is to be filled by a principal saying that your final year exams will get over by 30th of June of 27. NCOBC, EWS, SCST, the formats have been given. Most of the original certificates issued are very close to these formats. You don't need to exactly follow this format. But if a regional language certificate is there, because it's clearly mentioned in the CAT that only English or Hindi as a language will be accepted in these caste certificates, OTS, ST, SC, NCOBC, EWS. So if you have it in regional languages, you've got to issue a new one. But if it's in English or Hindi and it is very close to the actual format given here, no need to get any other one issued. Okay. Then there, of course, the PWBD issues are there. Communication address. This is irrespective. I'm sure you can fill this up. Most of us are permanent and communication will be same. So all that is simple to fill in. I'll not spend time on this. The emergency mobile number has to be provided here. You can give anybody's number except your own number which you have given at the time of registration. Relationship has to be given now. Now that comes as far as what is to be uploaded. So your basically what needs to be uploaded Sanya, identification affidavit needs to be printed. Yes, identification affidavit has to be printed on a non-judicial stamp paper. Okay. WorkX, I will come to that. Jay, your question related to WorkX, we'll come to that. Okay. So coming on to the uploads. Passport size photograph. Now here they have given you the very clear indicator in terms of if you go to the FAQ section, so click here for photo specification and sample photos. Now if I click here, they will show me which photographs are accepted and which are not acceptable. So I mean, just quickly glance through this and understand that, for example, today I was trying to upload one of my photographs which had a slight, tilt. For example, this one, this kind of, not facing the camera. Okay, not looking towards the camera, the eyelid movements. Even those specific things, be very careful. What looks straight, light background, and professionally getting it done, those guys know it better than me. Signature, sizes ko dekhna hai, and once you uploaded it, they will also ask you to view it. Only when you view it, then you can go to the next section. Without viewing, they're not allowed to do that. Okay. Scanned copies of original or digital certificates do not need self-attestation. Self-attestation is required only for photocopied documents. So therefore, no need for doing any self-attestation here. Just get the certificates, the caste certificates, disability certificates scanned of the original. No need for any self-attestation. Okay. In Hindi or English language, the valid certificate should be in the prescribed format, issued by the competent authority in either English or Hindi. So that is very, very important. As I said earlier, no regional language certificates will be allowed. Okay. So this is as far as this is concerned. If there is a problem with the photo size or something, they will not accept the photo. They will tell you the reason why they are rejecting the photograph. You will have ample opportunities to keep changing that, coming to the what they actually require. Right. Now let's come to the academic. Now here a lot of questions will come in. Say when next I go. Okay, so I will need to fill in no here. The category has to be general, otherwise they won't allow me. So no, and then I can go to save and next. And I go to academics. Now in the academic section, let's go one by one. Let's look at the class 10th first. In the 10th, there's a drop down. So the first one is the Council for Indian School Certificate Examination. This is the class, the ISC, ICSE. You can even write this, or Indian Certificate Secondary Education. दोनों same है. Ideally, I would want you to write this. Council for Indian School Certificate Examination, if you're from ISC. Otherwise, CBSC, Central Board of Secondary Education. So most of us would belong to either CBSC or ISC here. Otherwise, if you have a state board, then in the drop down you'll be able to find your board. So let's ignore this. Now month, typically completion month should be May of that particular year. Okay, maximum marks all subjects. This percentage here will not be auto-populated. You will have to type in the percentage, even after you have filled the max marks and the obtained marks. Percentage is to 2 decimal points. You will not be required to, and it has to be rounded off. For example, if it's 91.415, it becomes 91.42. You need to round off till 2 decimal places. Okay? If, for instance, you have passed your class 10 in 2020 or 21, then they will give you an option. For example, if I give my year of completion as May 21, sorry, oh, sorry, 2021 I need to give this, no? The moment I give you May 21, what are they giving me here? Passed with marks or promotion passed without marks. So some of us have been with marks, some of us without marks. So depending on if I write passed promotion without marks, they just say that I declare that I have not been involved in any marks due to COVID-19. Or if I pass, let's say with marks, then they will ask me, as they were asking me earlier, in terms of my max marks, marks obtained and percentage. But this information of promotion without marks will only come if you give your year of completion at 2020 or 21. Otherwise, it will not come. So the moment I go back to my original data of, let's say, 20, then 2021, sorry, 19 I need to give. 19 is not taking. So suppose 22 mein agar de diya, then of course that promotion without marks option goes away. The same thing is valid for class 12 also. So 10 and 12 are identical. I don't want to repeat them. Exactly same fields. Even here, if you have passed your class 12 in 20 or 21, then this issue of COVID will be then activated. Bachelor's degree. Now there are 2 icons here. Are you in the final year and have you completed bachelor's degree? So if you are in the final year and you write yes here, then completion of bachelor degree obviously will be no. Are you in the final year? Then this entire thing will be irrelevant because it's obvious it's no. The moment I say no here, then obviously this becomes yes. Are you in the final year? No means I've already completed my graduation. I feel yes. Duration will be of course 3, 4 depending on whatever duration you have. Type, now this is important. Central or state. Most of us would be either central, deemed or state. Others dekh sakte hain, but typically I'm sure most of us will have one of these both. For people from Calcutta, if you're from Xavier's, then it's state university. From Calcutta University, it is state university. Jadavpur University is also a state university. So most of them will be categorized as Macaut, JU, CU. Everything will be state university. But if you're from a Xavier's University, Rajarhat, then of course, then you will need to perhaps bring it to deemed university. State, of course, that's without saying. University name. Now this, of course, is not. Now here, Calcutta, for example, if from Calcutta University, you go up, you will find a Calcutta University. Okay? So duration, I can just fill up, let's say 4. Type, let's say I put in state, West Bengal. Just trying to fill in whatever, name of college. This has to be typed. There is no drop down here. So I can just fill in a Xavier's, let's say. Degree name. This is a drop down, BCom, BBA. Honors nahi milega aapko. So even if it's a BCom honors, you need to fill a BCom. If it's a BSc honors, you need to fill a BSc and things like this mentioned also here. Okay. So one query here is that in degree normally I only get CGPA. What do I do? I have said this earlier also. There will be definitely a method by which you convert your CGPA to percentage, and that has to be found out from your college or the university website. It has to be there. Now many of you are simply doing it into 10. I don't think that's a great idea. Most of the universities are typically 9.25 or 9.5, things like that. For 10 CGPA, yes, so 8.3 is, if you have got it for all subjects, then into 9.5 is what you write. So you can just write 100 marks as total, and whatever percentage is coming, that many marks as the marks obtained. Okay? If you have both marks and CGPA in graduation, it is better to fill marks. It is better to fill in marks, avoid the CGPA. Yeah, so I think Ayushi, I've answered that. MCOM, if you have filled in, we will have a post-graduation degree to be filled in later. I will show that to you. CGPA to percentage formula, Regia says I have, but there is no to find out total marks obtained or max marks. So, suppose your CGPA, let's say, is 8 and your formula is into 9.5. So, just do 8 into 9.5. If that is, let's say, 76%, so max marks of 100 likh do and obtained marks 76 likh do and just write 76%. This is a percentage what will matter. Okay? Additional subjects for 10 CBSE, yes. If it is mentioned in the mark sheet, then in 10 and 12, every subject has to be considered. So let's say here I fill a BCom or a BBA, whatever. Okay. Now in the lower part, they're asking you to select discipline. Now discipline for BCom could be commerce, accounting, depends. For engineer, it can be a different kind of electrical or depends on your stream of computer science. So let's say I fill in accountancy in terms of commerce, graduation stream, typically engineering or commerce. Again, I fill in commerce here. Month and year, I can typically give June, whatever. I mean, May, June, July, those are the years where normally we graduate. So that if you have not yet graduated and you have said no, then ensure that your graduation date is not later than June 27. Okay, not later than June 27. So commencement also is asked and completion is also asked. So commencement then will have to be, let's say, 22 and completion, let's say I fill in 26. Sorry. One moment. So let me fill this earlier. 21, let's say 25. Okay. Percentages. See here in graduation, if you see, the total marks obtained and maximum marks is not mandatory field. So I can just put a percentage here. Just type in the percentage. Let's say I have got a 65%, let's say. If you have a second bachelor's degree, then you need to fill in this box, and the same what we filled in the first, the same information comes for the second. Somebody is asking for an MCom here, master's degree. If I fill yes, then I need to give in the same information about my college, university, marks, or the percentage. Or even if you're in a final year of masters, you can mention that. Professional degree, they are considering only 3 courses here, and the 4th being actuaries. So the first one, if you see, are you a fellow of the Institute of Actuaries of India? The moment I click yes, they will ask me the details in terms of my marks and year of commencement and year of completion. Okay? I hope that's clear. So, and the moment I say yes for a CA, CS or cost and management accounting, earlier it should be called a cost and work accountant. So ICWA or CMA are the 2 similar terms. The moment I fill in yes here, they will give me 3 options: in progress or completed. So let's say I click on CA, I've only cleared intermediate, I will write in progress. The moment I write in progress, then they will ask me to fill in my intermarks, commencement, articleship period in months. This is the new addition this year in the form, and probable year of completion, which is of course post articleship. So if you have not completed an intermediate in CA or CMA or CS, you cannot fill in any part in this form. You need, even if one group of inter is clear, still it cannot be filled here. If both the intermediate groups are clear, then in progress click करके आप ये सब detail भर सकते हैं, और if you completed, then of course you need to fill that up. That's very important. So I am right now clearly. So one person says here, I am doing a BBA plus MBA integrated course, but I will drop after just doing BBA and get the degree. So should I mention yes in the option of current integrated program? So I think it is better to say no there, okay? Because if you wanted to drop out, it is better to just tell them that I'm doing a plain vanilla BBA program. If you're absent on the exam day and suppose you have some back papers of some papers you could not take because of medical issues and you have not yet appeared for the re-exam, just eliminate that paper from the maximum marks and the marks obtained. Assume, suppose I have not taken one paper out, so I have 8 papers to be cleared, I only took 7, then maximum marks will be out of those 7. So I'll assume that I have not taken that marks at all. Okay, if you, and only when you take the re-exam, because by the time you go for the interview, lot of your mark sheets would have changed, or updated mark sheets, updated results would have come. So many of you who are getting updated semester results, let's say by the end of August, I think should hold on to their CAT applications. Only when you get the updated results by end of August, fill in this application. Fill in everything else, just keep that field blank. If your results are expected in September, some universities go delayed or results are delayed, and you are expecting results to come out in September, October, then it is better to fill in whatever results you have. So might be your 4th semester, your 6th semester exams are over, but results are not yet declared. You fill in till 3rd semester or fill in till 5th semester. Even if your last semester exams are over, but yet the results have not been declared, fill in till the previous semester. There is no problem with that. Some of you might not have 50% in your graduation. You have a 49 or a 48, but you feel that by the end of the next semester or the next to next semester, I would be able to make it to 50. The best chance here is to fill 50 in the CAT form and at least appear for the CAT exam, and hope that in the current future semesters, you will be able to do well and the overall aggregate percentage will be able to move to 50 plus. Okay? IGSC board, if you are not able to find that, you can write others and put that board separately there. Okay? Though I am surprised because IGSC board should be there. Let me just go through that. That's a good point you have raised. 10th board, Haryana Indian School. International Baccalaureate is there, so IB is there. Other boards option will obviously be there. So आप वो भर सकते हो. There is a Cambridge GCEA level. If I think that could be the other option you could have filled up. If these two are not satisfying, then go to the others. Okay, there is no other option then. Any more questions on academics? Should we write CGPA equivalent percentage? Yes, absolutely. The overall CGPA, whatever you have got, you have to convert that to percentage. What if college is over, 6 semester results are awaiting? Fill till the 5th semester. No problem with that, Madhu Sikaria. If IP uses credits to calculate CGPA, no problem. You can apply that formula. You can always use credits. There's absolutely no problem with that. Final year CGPA can be aggregate CGPA? No, I don't think so. Aggregate CGPA has to be taken into account of all the semesters put together. CGPA means cumulative. We are not talking of SGPA. We are not talking of semester grade point average. We are talking of cumulative grade point average. So it's not that you have to only fill in the final year one. Anukriti Srivastav, if that's what your question was. Okay. So I'm just now moving to the next, to the WorkX section. So I'll just fill in no here so that I'm able to go to the next section. Okay, I think I missed that out where we have not filled in. Okay, so this is where I'm just putting in some dummy numbers so that I can move fast. See, so wherever I am filling in the data, they are able to understand there's be 1 year or 2 year gap between 12th and year of completion. So you need to be very, very careful. I just filled in random numbers, so the system has been able to catch that what I am filling doesn't add up in terms of years. Okay. So for example, I had filled in year of completion of 10th as 22. So then I need to make this, let's say, as 19. Are they taking 19? Okay, so then that makes it easier for me. Year of completion here, let's make it 22. And this then remains 25. So any error which you make, less than 12, okay. So this was 22. So you see, this is trying to test me on various fronts. So now let's go to the WorkX category. So any year mismatch, anything by error. So many of the time the system itself will check you on the errors. Now, some very important points as far as the WorkX is concerned. WorkX is to be taken till 31st July 2026. Only full-time WorkX after graduation must be considered. No internships, no articleship, no part-time and nothing. And each organization where you have worked has to be separately input. Serial number 1, the last organization where you worked. Add a new row, the second last. Start from the latest. Third, if you have worked with 3 organizations, you can fill it 3 separate rows. For each organization you worked for, name, designation, start date, end date, all that has to come in. Now, what do you mean by the break here? Break means suppose during the 4 years I have worked or during the 2 years I have worked, I took a break of 15 days from the company. For most of us, this will be 0, but I need to type in 0 there. But if I took a sabbatical is a very common break which people take to study. So then I can just write here reason as sabbatical and put here as 6. So if I put a, let's say in the break I put a 0, which most of us would, then that reason for the break goes away. Okay? Couple of more points to be important here. Exact date where you started working and the date you finally exited. All this will be there by paper. So you have an appointment letter, you have a resignation letter. all that will have to be kept into account before you fill the WorkX. So before filling the CAT form, if you have WorkX, even this information needs to be carefully collated. Latest job to be entered first, that's important. Seventh point is very, very critical here. A lot of us are self-employed, not formally employed by an organization where we receive a salary, but we are independent professionals like lawyers, doctors. So this time they've given the option for you to fill that up. So what do you need to fill? In name of the organization, you need to write independent professional practitioner. Independent professional practitioner. In designation, I can write lawyer or doctor or whatever I am. And then the start date can be, let's say, first June. Okay. So the experience will be auto-calculated. 31st July is the last date. So break, if I give a 0. So 61 days experience by default, depending on your start and end, is auto-populated by the website. This. So that is my last organization. Accordingly, I can add new rows, I can delete rows. But remember, till 31st July 2026, adding up all your organizations put together, the system itself will count. For example, if it is 61 days here, it is showing here 2 months, 1 day. So let's quickly, if I have any question for WorkX, we can go through that. Postgraduate, contract-based trainee, but paid. If it is paid post-graduation full-time, I think you can easily put that as WorkX. If I get a job after registering for CAT, no. Because 31st July 2026, yeah, so coming back, after your CAT form, if you have joined any work, it doesn't really matter because 31st July 26 is your last date. So you can't edit it, of course, after that. Own startup, I think there again you can write, if they have given you that independent professional practitioner option, there I think you can also put in own startup, or your startup has a name. So just put in the name here as your startup company's name. Designation, you can just write proprietor or partner and given your start end date. I mean, that's also perfectly. If your startup is post-graduation, then I think you should show it as WorkX. For example, family business. A lot of us are showing family business as WorkX. Remember, WorkX, you should have received salary in your bank accounts. You should have a salary slip, you should have an appointment letter, and your bank account should have seen the salary coming as credits. Last 6 months, at 8 months, 1 year, nowadays, these schools are really very stringent as far as paperwork for WorkX is considered. Nothing to be uploaded now, but later on when you go on to the interview, these documents will be checked. I will pass out in 27. If I give CAT in 26 and again in 27, no sir, no gap year will be considered. Yash Maurya. If you don't have total marks obtained and maximum marks in graduation, doesn't matter. The percentage only would do. I had a job but no experience sheet or offer letter but pay slips and ID. If you do not have relevant papers, no point showing any WorkX. Cash salary is no WorkX. Internship, even if it's stipend received, is not WorkX. Okay? A PF contribution started later doesn't really matter. Okay, J, that doesn't really matter. If I don't have WorkX, Sania, you can't change that. So, of course, any break without WorkX is not welcome, but something which you actually can't change. During graduation, before passing out, any job experience, Srishti is of no use. Even if we have salary slips, doesn't matter. Pay slips can be created if company doesn't have a policy on their letterhead. They can always make a payslip and give it and give you so long as you have received the salary in your bank accounts. Okay, so don't worry on that. So that is as far as the WorkX is concerned. Many of you have still been asking questions on the CGPA percentage funda. Now every university will have a different CGPA conversion. So I cannot give you a standard formula which you use for CGPA to percentage conversion. As far as CBSE is concerned, I know that in class 10 or 12, if you have CGPA, it's into 9.5. I repeat, it's into 9.5, whatever CGPA you have got. But for graduation CGPA to percentage, most of the university will have their own norms, so there are no standard norms followed there. But one thing I will tell you, for example, in Calcutta University, I know in Xavier's College, Calcutta, they give you a mark sheet with CGPA marks both. Please just go by the marks. If you have both marks and CGPA available, there is absolutely no need for you to even look at the CGPA. Don't think that my CGPA into 10 is giving me a higher percentage, but my marks is giving me a lower percentage. Which one to take? Don't go into that confusion. If marks are given on the mark sheet, just add up the aggregate of all the marks of all the semesters. If it comes to 4,000, put that in the denominator, add the marks obtained, put total in the numerator, percentage nikal lo. And whatever you have applied, write it down on a piece of paper and clip it to your mark sheet, so that later I know what was the formula I used to arrive at that percentage. Because 100% later on, this will have to be verified with the authorities of the relevant B school. So let me now move to the program section. Have I missed out something here? Okay. So now let's move to the program. Now this is a really important slide. So one option here is select all. So the moment I select all here, all programs get automatically selected. There will be at least 70, 80 programs. Okay. So one has to be careful before doing this. Okay. So one has to be careful when doing this, because for each program you select, you have to select 2 interview city preferences. For example, if I have selected IIM Ahmedabad PGP, my first interview preference will have to be amongst these cities: Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bombay. So let's say I fill in Kolkata as my first choice. Second choice, let's say I fill in Ahmedabad. Likewise, for every program I have clicked. So select all is not a very easy option that way. The moment I select all for every, and there will be 70, 80 programs here, including the PhD programs, including the working executive programs. So I would strongly recommend not to fill the select all option, because it will be a real challenge. Then everywhere you have to fill in two cities. If you're okay with that, I would be having no issues. But what I meant to say was mandatory program. For example, Ahmedabad, the PGP has to be filled in, has to be. Without this, I'm sure, I mean, all of us, that could be our dream place to get in. Likewise, now Ahmedabad FABM. So you remember I showed you earlier a list of 24 special programs, one of which was IIM Ahmedabad FABM, business and agribusiness. MBA BPGP. Now this is all working executives. Doctoral program, which is a PhD of 4 to 5 years duration. Okay, so this is again your choice. But the moment I come to IIM Amritsar now, MBA, that will be a flagship program. Likewise, IIM Amritsar is given in alphabetical order, A, then B, Bodh Gaya will come, then Bangalore and all that, Calcutta. For 22 IIMs, you must ensure that you fill in 22 of their flagship programs. Even if that location does not excite you, it really does not matter. Okay? So IIM Amritsar, for instance, has an executive MBA program also. Most of us are not even eligible for this program. But if you have WorkX, then go to that relevant IIM website. Take time, don't rush. So take your time and then fill it up. IIM Amritsar has an MBA in HR. So somebody is talking of MBA HR program. You can always click that. Even if Amritsar doesn't excite you, now it doesn't matter. So long as you're interested in HR, fill in all the HR options. If you're interested in agribusiness, fill in all the agribusiness options. If you're not sure of where you're interested, at least fill in the 24 special programs I am talking about as a fresher. The data science and management. Now, this is a IIT Ropar के संग इनका special program है. Non-engineer strongly not recommended. Again, IIM Bangalore PGP is their flagship program. For some IIMs, it's MBA. Most of them. For 7 IIMs, it's PGP. And for IIM Trichy, it's PGP MBA. Okay? So please ensure that you minimum fill the 22 flagships plus as many specialized as you want, the maximum of which can be 24 more. Okay? For example, I was referring to IIM Bodh Gaya Hospital Healthcare Management. If you are from that industry, this is a very, very important program to be filled in. You will not get too many MBA programs in this field. Okay? IIM Calcutta MBA remains their main program. IIM Guwahati only has one program, just MBA, the newly launched IIM. Most of the IIMs will have the 4 metros. Hyderabad, typically, for example, let's look at the Guwahati interview city preference. If I fill in IIM Guwahati, what are the interviews? Only online. So IIM Guwahati is saying we will not consider any physical interviews. We will only have the option of selecting online. Because only one interview preference given for Guwahati. Very rare to happen, but because it's only one, for example, here also if you see, IIM Calcutta PhD, only one preference. Now one preference will be which preference? Kolkata only. So there are some special programs where interviews are only conducted locally or by the local office. So one has to be very careful with them. IIM Jammu Healthcare, IIM Jammu AI and Business Analytics, Working, Kashipur. See, just the list goes on. IIM Kozhikode. You must fill in, everybody must fill in the PGP Finance and the PGP Liberal Arts, the LSM. This is irrespective, I think you must fill in. Okay. IIM Kozhikode goes, IIM Lucknow again, ABM is a very good program. So I have handpicked those 24 programs which are generally for freshers. But for working executives, there could be other choices also. But most of the working executives are 3 years plus work ex. Okay, so IIM Ranchi, Rohtak, Sambalpur, it just goes on. I'm sure there will be at least around close to 70-80 programs. But interview city preferences for all of them will have to be filled in. Okay? So that is as far as programs is concerned. Let me see if I have any questions with respect to the programs. IIM programs of finance and supply chain. For finance, see IIMs typically you cannot pick up only for finance because all the IIMs have specialization in finance. The only finance program I can think of is IIM Kozhikode ka PGP Finance. That will definitely you need to fill it up. Supply chain, IIM Bombay is the best option. So whatever programs you have in IIM Bombay as far as operations and supply chain is concerned, that would be the best choice in those fields. Okay. I'm in semester 7. Do I have to fill up the final year? Anybody who is in their final year of graduation needs to fill up the final year certificate. If your final year is in 27, the final year certificate has to be filled in. Okay? You need to fill in the results of only that semester which is available to you. They have no such rule that you have to fill up the results till a particular semester. It doesn't matter. Yes, if you're already a graduate and you're saying completed graduation, then of course you need to fill up the total marks. Okay, any more questions as far as programs? I can't see that. So let's move further to the test city. Now this is, you need to give in 5 test state preferences along with cities. So being from Calcutta, if I select West Bengal as my state in the first 5 choices, I would prefer Kolkata, Howrah, Kalyani, Bardwan and Asansol, Durgapur as my 5 choices. But yes, you can be from Delhi, you can be from Bombay, you can be from Chennai. So then those locations would of course be different, but as I said earlier, most of the times the first preferences are allotted to the student. Most of the times. Okay? So this is the first. Don't get too worked on this, that what if I get my fifth preference? Aisa kabhi nahi hoga. Nobody goes beyond the second preference. Okay, but yes, whatever state you want to take the exam in, at least do a recce, seeing what are the cities which are available in that state, and accordingly fill up your 5 choices. Okay. Then of course comes the declaration part. Slow. So declaration is the money payment, 2,700 for general and NC/OBC candidates. For SC/ST, I think it's and EW it's 1,350. Payment details, you have to do it online, UPI, debit card, credit card, whatever. But all this is only to come in once you have previewed the application form. Preview application button, confirm that all the data reflecting in the preview are correct. Now you might be wondering what fields can be edited after I pay and submit my applications. Only photograph, signature and the test city preferences. They can be edited in a small edit window which CAT opens somewhere in October. Okay, so ideally we should not bank on that edit window, but suppose I saw my photograph and signature was absolutely right when I uploaded, but when the final application came in, I saw that in the print of the application form, the photo and signature is not what I would ideally wanted. Then those edit options can be activated. But otherwise, if your preview application, everything is clearly shown, your signature, photograph, everything, you should be able to have a very clear view and then click on submit. Well, can you show the 24 program list again? Okay, I will come to that. You need to carry the final year certificate, nothing. Final year certificate only needs to be carried in the interview level. Not on the CAT day, only your ID proof is to be carried, nothing else. No documents to be carried on the exam day. Okay, so the CAPTCHA, you make the payment, declare, and then you fill in. But this level of declaration wala jo part hai, it should be visited only if the first 5 are thoroughly checked and the preview application is done and you see the entire preview there. So that is very, very important. Okay. So that is what this is. So the preview here, if I click on preview, let's see what do I get. So you see the preview application is showing me the entire what I have filled in. So it is better to see the preview once and have a look of what it's being coming. It will show you your photo and signature also once you upload that. And once you have previewed it absolutely okay, then this OK button can be clicked and then you can submit. Don't submit before previewing. Where to submit the final year certificate? That is to be submitted only during interview. All these final year certificates have to be only during interview. The caste certificates have to be uploaded now. Okay, the identification affidavit, the scribe affidavit, the authorization affidavit, all that has to be taken on the CAT day. But the final year certificate affidavit has to be taken only during the interview. So if you have converted, let's say Somily, if you have converted your CGPA to percentage, now you know your percentage. Just suppose your percentage is coming out to be 72.5. Okay. So just write 100 marks, maximum 72.5 obtained and 72.5 as percentage. That's the safest thing to do. But most probably in your graduation, maximum marks and marks obtained will not be asked. Even if it is asked, it's not mandatory field. You can just plug in your percentage there. Jay, you saying product management, if you want to pursue which programs, there cannot be any program in product management. Product management is a field which will be there in within marketing of every IIM. So I don't think that way you can fill up that field. When I'm saying field, I'm talking of HR, I'm talking of analytics, I'm talking of data science. You know, these are the fields which, if you are agribusiness, food, supply chain, then there are specialized programs for them. But product management, finance, marketing, I mean, they are too broad areas for to be picked as special programs for them. No. Ronak going the wrong way. Every IIM is having top-notch placements for marketing. So if marketing is where you want to go, then every IIM should be your lookout. I mean, you cannot say whether conversion will be high. Conversion will be high depends on your percentile, on the way your interviews take place. Okay? I've done a 1-year apprenticeship under NATS after my graduation. If it's after graduation, you have received salary and you have proper documents, yes, you should show. For BMS, is same as BBA. Management is the best thing to be shown as discipline, Ashika. Executive MBA, a good option for 5 years work ex. Anya, yes, you can be looking at it. But executive MBA, I think you should only do from a top IIM, not from the newly opened ones. ISCSC, ISC usually best 4. No. I think Dhananjay, we have made it very, very clear. For ICSC or ISC, 10, 12, all subjects. No best of 4, no best of 5. So this is an absolutely no question. I think we have discussed that enough number of times. All right, so now let me quickly close this. And the list of programs somebody was asking me. Let me just show that once to you. So this is the list of programs we were referring to. These are the first 12. I told you we have 24 specialized programs. These are the first 12. And written them in exact alphabetical order as they appear on the CAT website. And these are the next 12. So in total, there are 24 specialized programs over and above those 22 flagship ones. You use credit, CGP, and then convert to percentage. It will vary with max marks. No, why should it vary? There is no need for you to give the max marks and marks obtained. Just put the percentage directly. Anya? Sorry, Vanya. Right, then I think that's true. Thank you for tuning in. But once more, let me remind you about the Open CDC to be taken up, which is being held on the 8th and the 9th, the coming weekend. So please ensure that you register for this event. As I told you earlier, the actual CAT experience which you will get during this CDC will be absolutely brilliant. So please ensure that you are registering for this test and taking it on the coming weekend. It's 8th and 9th, 3 slots on the 8th and 3 slots on the 9th, the usual CAT slots, 8:30, 12:30, 4:30. So please go ahead and fill this up. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I hope you have been able to make your notes and understand the CAT applications well. Take your time in filling, don't rush, but ensure that by the end of this month, ideally, the application form should be filled up. Not able to see all the rows. Okay. So we will try to make a PDF of the document and circulate it as a link or as a blog so that you will have enough information as far as the minute details is concerned. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Bye bye. Good night. Take care.